Yom Tov, everyone. We have a couple minutes, so just to share a quick thought. So, this time period in between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, we all know we're all busy. We have no time to do Averos, obviously, because we're so busy doing mitzvahs. So, first of all, Amir Hashem, the rest of our year should be like this period. We should be so busy doing mitzvahs, we have no time to do Averos.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. But that said, believe this time period is called Rishon L'Cheshbon Avonos, right? We call this time Rishon L'Cheshbon Avonos. So the question is, why do this period is Rishon L'Cheshbon Avonos? Why are we doing Cheshbon Avonos for the whole Elul? We're sitting there doing Cheshbon Avonot. Asher's made Teshuvah, we're Cheshbon Avonot. We had this all. So all of a sudden, it doesn't call that time. Only this time right now do we start Rishon L'Cheshbon Avonos, the beginning of our Cheshbon Avonos. It's a famous question. One answer I want to share is a thought that my father always likes to share. It's based off the Heilige Berditchever. We all know that when one does Teshuvah from Yira, it takes their mazes, all their intentional aviros, and turns them into shkagos, into accidental aviros. But when you do Teshuvah me'ahava through simcha, it takes your zedonis and turns them into zechusim. So what happens after Yom Kippur? We go through this whole level. First we're saying, I didn't mean to do this Averos, it was just my Yetzer Hara, like, Hashem, please forgive me. And finally, then all of a sudden we get to Yom Kippur, we get to such a place of ecstasy, of love with Hashem, and then we get into times of Simcha. Now we're saying Cheshbon Avonos, because now we're taking all of our Averos and they're turning into Zechusim. It's like, I thought I did do that Avera, I did that Avera. I did all those because we're flipping them around into Zechusim. So now it's Rishon L'Cheshbon Avonos, we're starting the Cheshbon Avonos, because what's Avera? Avera is a Hechsher Mitzvah. I'm just kidding. But maybe one can say that we should be Zeichet that this is the time of Hechsher Mitzvah. Like the Rishami says, even the Rishami says you make a bracha on Hakamas HaSukkah, which is a whole in itself. But these are the times where we're Hechsher Mitzvah, we're connected to the Mitzvah. I think just that's a big reason for Simcha in our life, is when we're connected to Mitzvahs, Gevalt, we should be Zeichem. Another thing is that, it's the time of Simcha. And Simcha is a big thing, as you know, Sfas Emes says during Adar, it says, Misha Nichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. And the famous Sfas Emes says, what does it mean? Marbim B'Simcha, it says, B'Simchas Oisiyos Machshava. Is that nothing in this world can bring us happiness at the end of the day. No car, no fancy this, no that. The only thing that brings us happiness is choosing happiness, is seeing the things in our life and creating a mindset of happiness within our life. And sometimes Sukkot is the perfect recipe after going through the soul searching and this who we are. We get to take a look at all of our physical life and realizing a new relationship with Simcha. But I always last year, I think we were bringing about it, it says during this time, it's V'samachta b'chagecha v'yisa ach sameach. And ach sameach is an interesting lashon for happiness, because the word ach means to mute, right? The word mute, it's a mute, and I think there's a machlokes in Rashi and Sforno doesn't mean one can say it means only happiness. So we all know that I think it was the Gra, it says the hardest mitzvah in the Torah. What's the hardest mitzvah in the Torah? V'samach b'chagecha for 7 days straight. Gevalt. If you can be happy for a couple minutes a day, truly, but for 7 days, if Hashem can give us a mitzvah d'oraisa to be happy for 7 days, that's the hardest mitzvah in the Torah. So maybe one can say is v'samach b'chagecha v'yisach sameach, is that Hashem saying, try your best, even a little happiness every day. Even a little bit of happiness is Gevalt. You'll see what that breaks into your heart. A little bit of happiness. Try to find a little bit of happiness every day, and you'll be blown away by how much happiness you can actually experience in one's life. And just to end with one thought, what was I saying? What was I just saying?
End with one thought.
You're going to end.
That's good. You know what? L'chaim shemizocha. Happiness.